WTVG market size is 74. So, we're a mid-sized market, which is really nice for this system that we have designed.
Geez, I bet it was about 2 years ago, right after WTVG was sold to Lilly Broadcasting, that we started looking at editing systems. And at first, Sony wasn't at the top of our list. The cost was higher than the other competitors that we were looking at, significantly higher at one point. And then as technologies kept changing over the years, the cost kept coming down and down. But one of the biggest advantages to this system that we looked at it and saw was the flexibility and the ability to expand the system as you can grow and determine what more features you want to use and import into your system. What can we scale in, year 2 and 3? Is the system going to be outdated in year 2 and 3? And the answers are no. And what we're able to integrate in the next few years are really going to help our news production. We started off with a basic Xpree editing system. We can do news editing, ingest. We have 4 ingest stations, import also 4 import stations. But right now we're already looking at expanding and buying the web interface for clip editing out in the field, and also the web interface for ingest terminals for within the building, and even if they're outside of the building, they could set up to record something without being here. Our next future looking at the system is to start pushing directly to the web with it.
One other aspect that I really like is the fact that it's all off the shelf. If I have a hard drive die, I can call any manufacturer that makes that particular type of hard drive and say, hey, I need to get this in, instead of, hey, calling the manufacturer that sold us the system, say, hey, I need this. Well, that's, it's very specific to us. It's going to be this and this, or I got to try to find it in inventory. So as we go down along the line, we have the system for 10 years, 20 years. I can go and find a hard drive I don't have to worry about. I don't have to worry about things becoming end of life.
Looking in the future, if the hard drive goes on one of the Dell servers or the power supply, yes, there's a manufacturer warranty for that, but being the size market we are, this system's going to last us longer than that 5 years. Probably a 10-year, maybe 15.
So we had a couple different products that we were looking at, but what it really came down to is the functionality of the system, the fact that it's a turnkey system, the fact that I can manage our graphics system through this, how easy it is to integrate into our editing or our system that's EMPS.
Sony's allowing us to be competitive because of the speed we can get things done. Our photog walks in, drops that media ingest off, it gets ingested, and it can go on air instantly. We can send the raw video. So yes, there's a huge advantage.
The lag time between bringing content in and having stuff hit air has dropped by 50%, if not more. Before, it was real time. We had to wait the entire time. If it was a 10-minute clip, we had to wait 10 minutes. Now I can sit down, start ingesting something. By the time I walk to the edit bay to start editing, it's there.
Will this system affect us and allow us to get breaking news on the air quicker? Most definitely. Those photogs can either send directly from the field raw video, and we can take it right to air now and cut it up, or a producer can cut it up in EMPS as they're sitting in the booth and say, I want this, this, and that, send it directly to the server. Does it help in morning everyday news? Yes. I mean, our production level has gone drastically higher. The quality of what we can put on the air as to edited packages and features that we can come in, the ability to have the system, throw fonts in. It's not the producer sitting there typing everything in. It's the actual reporter who could be out in the field using mobile EMPS, typing in the fonts. The editor's throwing in where it goes into the package, and that workflow is great. We at WTVG only have one full craft editor, and then everything else is a proxy editor. And it took a while to understand that just because you're editing on proxy is no difference between that and the craft editor. The craft editor, yes, it's the heart for bringing in all your odd materials and that, but once that material's in that server and on that system, you can use it throughout the system instantaneously.
Sony actually has the ability to send stuff directly to an FTP server, which is really great. I can actually do that. I can export to a local drive that's shared in the building, and I can have other editors from other portions of our individual system work great. So I have my promotions and art and all that stuff can pull content. They can actually walk down there, export whatever they need, and pull it in and create promotions without a problem. And before it was they had to have their own editing system, whole editing system in there. Where now I don't have to worry about that. There's a couple buttons and exports.
One of the great things we've done with Sony is we've set up some hot folders, and we export. We're a small station group. We have 4 stations in our group right now. We export some of our shows that we do here in Toledo. One would be Full Plate, which is a cooking show. That gets recorded in the system, gets trimmed, and we FTP it directly out of Sony now into the other stations into the format that they need for their on-air automation. So we have 4 different stations with 4 different formats, but we export right out of Sony now to those 4 stations direct. So has that changed our workflow? Yeah. Master Control's not sitting back there going through 4 different computers 4 different times. As content develops here in the station and we start sending out more, we're looking to Sony to help solve many of those issues.
Well, being the system administrator for the system, I've noticed it greatly. One major thing that I've done with the MBPS system is ask for a very specific type of KVM. Well, this KVM allows me to do is actually administer from any computer in the building everything except for the edit bays. So the servers, our archive system, all that I can actually access from almost anywhere in the world as long as I have an internet access. I can manage user accounts, I can manage the ingest, names and the groups that they're in, and rights all from one individual server is really nice.
The quickness of getting material in the system now and onto air, that's the benefit of this system. I mean, the fact that you put your disc in, your SD card, you select your clips, you walk away, you go to your edit bay, you're ready to edit. But even before that, your reporter can be out in the newsroom, starting to log and clip trim, and then sending directly to the server what she wants or he wants in that story. And you're not sitting there, going through time code looking for everything. You're just grabbing those pieces, throwing them in your timeline. Your B-roll's already there. Yeah, time is saved. Yes, those who have embraced it, yeah, their workflow has really changed. And actually has become quite easy, and more productive. They're out getting more content. We're in the news industry, and being a local news, the best thing we can do is provide that fresh, new content. And the more people you could have out in the field bringing in that content, spending less time in the building is better. One of our purchases that we did on the system was we bought 3 additional laptop editors to go out in the field. We send them out with a MiFi, and I always tell them I don't want to see you until you're live on the air. Because there's no reason to. There's no reason they have to come back into the building anymore. If they need archive video, we can send it out to them. We had a linear editing system before this, no tape. But the problem was you had to wait for everything to be totally ingested into the system. You had to wait for that feed from the live truck to be done so that you could start ripping it apart and sending it off to the server. Now we can start capturing video, and as it's recording, if it's a live fire or a standoff or a major car accident or even Northwest Ohio snow, we can start grabbing that video, and as it's being fed in, cut it apart and send it off so we have fresh video for air constantly. There's no reason now that video has to be repetitive. The live shots are out. We can be recording, cutting that video, and sending it instantly. The fact that more hands can contribute to this, and it's not just limited to 5 edit bays, that's the savings here.
MPPS does help dramatically. We actually had some breaking news today at our noon. EMPS here basically controls our system when it comes to play out, because we can rearrange, and then once we're done rearranging in EMPS, the Sony system will actually go through and rearrange itself also and redo all the channel assignments without a director having to manually click and do any of that, because that's something we used to have to do. Is when we floated something back in, we'd have to go back in, re-queue from that specific location to get that video. Now we don't have to worry about that.
It keeps getting better every day. I'm not the news director here, so I'm not responsible for content of the news. To me, a successful newscast is to fill that 90 minutes of black. When filling that 90 minutes, though, you want that content to look good and smooth and best quality there. And, we bought Sony 320 cameras with this as our HD camera and upgrade. And the quality that we've gotten from the camera, along with the speed of the editing system, our product has definitely shined and polished up.
Metadata, when it comes to the MBPS system, is really nice in the fact of we're in charge of the metadata. We are the ones who put in the individual materials. We've decided on a very specific type of metadata format. A name of it's really good, but it'd be better if you had name, the reporter that was in there, the date that it was shot on, and a little bit of, and now there's a comments section that we can put comments into, about the individual stuff. And as soon as you hit ingest, all that metadata gets linked to that individual video. So now when we archive it, or we're looking for it, or I thought I put it here, but I didn't ingest it there, as long as you know what you named it, you can search for it, you can pull it back over, no problem. Same thing with the archive. When you archive it, you know that I remember shooting that in November on the 3rd. You can type in that date, and that date will bring back anything that was shot on that day, and you say, oh, there's my piece of video, whether you even know what the name of it or not was. Before, it was just kind of a pre-assigned name that went to a clip, and you just had to search for random stuff in it. Now we can dig down and really assign exactly what we want to when it comes to metadata in there.